What role does the NeuroInfiniti play in this?
It's the keystone. Like I said, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to measure it. And if we have the ability to measure it, why not take advantage of it? Because when somebody comes in, again, and we're talking about, and we sit down with them and say, it's not about your pain, it's about your function. What are we doing to measure their function? Nothing. Nothing. So when we talk about, it's about how your nervous system is working and how your nervous system isn't working, we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure that. We do some stuff, like we'll do a postural exam, we'll do a bilateral weight exam, we'll do a stress response evaluation. So that's where the NeuroInfiniti comes in, and what the NeuroInfiniti is going to do for us, it's going to let us know how they're responding to their world. So it tells us everything. It's the keystone to the whole conversation. Segued off that. We have another guy who came in here reluctantly because his family started, and it's his typical husband. He's a great guy. And he comes in and he just wrote a testimonial for us because he did nothing. He's had a heart attack at the age of 35. He had a bypass. He's been on cholesterol medication. His cholesterol has been through the roof. And he goes in, and now his cholesterol has plummeted down. So he wrote a testimony about how, the only thing he's changed in his life was chiropractic care. So how are we explaining that to that individual, that it's because of their cervical curves? No, it's because their nervous system imbalance. And that sympathetic system was kicking in and dumping that cholesterol in there. So now we're showing them, when we do the SRE, the NeuroInfiniti, when we're doing it, we're showing them what the heck is going on in their body. The disarray. Either the body's coordinated or it's not. And when the body's not coordinated, it's not synchronized, the body's running inefficiently. When it's running inefficiently, it's in a state of dis-ease. You're in a state of dis-ease long enough, it becomes disease. So the goal of the whole thing is to really talk about the nervous system and then in turn measure the nervous system. That's the goal. So the NeuroInfiniti is essential to the conversation. Can't really have it without it.
Can you imagine practicing without it now?
Knowing what I know now, no. Knowing what I know now, no. It's brought a whole new type of patient into the office. The referrals have shot through the roof. And the interesting thing is now, where before it was I really need to see your family, I need to see your kids, we need to make sure that they're not in this condition when they get to be our age. We need to make sure that they're growing healthy, that their immune system is fully functional. But now, when I'm done with the report, the patients, without me ever mentioning what's happening with their children, like this individual. This lady starts, within a week she has her 2 kids under care. The beginning of the next week she has her husband under care, even though he reluctantly came in because at the time he said, how is chiropractic going to help me? We do the SRE, he's like, interesting. So now all of a sudden, as we course through care, he goes to his medical doctor, and the medical doctor tells him your cholesterol is plummeting down over 150 points, which is fantastic, which means his body's starting to normalize. So now the NeuroInfiniti has changed the whole methodology, because when I'm done with the report, it's always, I'm thinking about my mother. When I say, do you have any questions, concerns, thoughts? What do you want to know about this? Well, I don't really have any questions for myself. I'm sitting here thinking about my husband. I'm sitting here thinking about my wife. I'm sitting here thinking about my kids. I'm sitting here thinking about my neighbor, my mother. These are the responses we get. And that's been the most profound thing, I think, for me, aside from people just starting up their families, is that people never have a question about themselves. They get it. When they're done with the report, they get where they are in this whole spectrum, where they are in this disease state, we're in this lack of health state, and they're immediately turning to somebody else that they know that suffer from all these different scenarios. And they go, and they tell these people to come on in. And now I'm getting all of these other people who are coming in for a wide variety of reasons. And these referrals aren't because somebody has sciatica, somebody has back pain. People are coming in to get checked because they say, holy cow, that's how the body works. I want to find out what this guy's talking about, so they come on in. And I'm getting referrals out the wazoo.
All right, I'm going to throw you under the bus just a bit. You have used the term keystone, said you wouldn't practice without it. Yet, what was your initial reaction when you first saw the NeuroInfiniti?
Upon my first exposure to the NeuroInfiniti, I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I don't know exactly how it fits into practice. That was my first reaction. Because I didn't get it. I was still working in the structural model. I was still there. I still said, you know, this is kind of cool. I get it, but I don't get it. I don't really see how it could be in a practice, so I kind of wanted to drop it. And it wasn't until I had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Richard Barwell that night in a very intimate setting. There were only Dr. Richard Barwell and 2 other chiropractors. And during that talk, he spoke for about an hour, hour and a half, and I had my epiphany. He showed me a couple, well not, he showed us a couple of things, and at that point it clicked. And when it clicks, it clicks. It's literally like a light switch. You just go, oh, right. And my epiphany at that moment, like his voice, I almost remember it as if it was yesterday, his voice kind of blurred out because I had this inner dialogue in my head. And the inner dialogue was just basically saying, this could revolutionize healthcare. And it could thrust chiropractic into the forefront. And as a profession, I can only hope that we're ready to move onward and upward past just structural aches and pains and get people to understand that the body is a pretty dynamic, wonderful, self-regulating, self-healing organism. And all we have to do is help them understand and help us understand, that's another way of putting it, help us understand who we're dealing with, who's on our table at this moment in time, how is their system working, how can I facilitate their system specifically. Not so much, you know, 1, 2, 3, I'll see you later. Because now we get a better understanding of who is on this table, so now we can strategize knowing with what we know and how their system's functioning, how to either turn down the volume on their system, which is an overload, or how to turn that volume up, or how to stabilize it if it's stuck in an unstable system. So we have a better understanding of each individual. And this inner dialogue started to happen to me as Richard's speaking. And I said, holy cow. And then after the talk was over, I think I bent Richard's ear for about, you know, another 45 minutes, you know, because now I was fired up. Now I was excited. Now I understood. My paradigm shift inside here between the ears made that drastic shift, and I totally understood the ramifications of chiropractic adjustment, much greater than I ever had before. Forget bone on nerve. If we're going in there and we're making an adjustment, what happens? We're actually altering brainwave activity. And the greatest thing is, every day when patients come in here for that new exam and for their re-exams, I'm measuring their brainwave activity. So I actually know what's happening in the brain before and after their allotted care plan increments. And that is pretty profound. So, you know, the difference with practicing it, going back to the previous question, the difference with practicing it with it and practicing without it, knowing what I know now, I really would have great difficulty doing it.